Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and today we are going to be going over why is the next gen version of NBA 2K going to be costing $70 instead of $60. Let's get started. Okay, so worth noting that the PlayStation 4 version is going to be costing $60, PlayStation 5 version going to be costing $70. All right, well the obvious answer, right, money. Of course, if you have a product that costs more, you're going to earn more money. All right, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. But there are still some things to talk about here. I wouldn't have done the video otherwise. Let's go back in time just a little bit, or a lot of it, depending on your perspective, I guess. Let's go back to the Super Nintendo era real quick. Back in the day, games pricing was kind of all over the place. You'd have like $30, $40, sometimes you'd have $80, depending on the game. There was no real consistency to it outside of certain companies being scumbags or cheap, depending on your perspective. I want to say one of the Donkey Kong games cost me like 70 or 80 bucks. Can't remember which one. I want to say Donkey Kong 2, but it doesn't matter. Fast forward to 64 and PlayStation 1 era. Again, games kind of more up in the $50, $60, $70 range, but still nothing consistent. Get to the GameCube and the PlayStation 1 and Xbox era. You still have a few outliers, a few $70 and $80 games. We're not talking about special editions, just basic editions. But for the most part, right around there, we started getting down $60. PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, this is where it really was solidified. $60, $60, $60, or a little bit more for a special edition. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, obviously, again, $60. So here we are going into the PlayStation 5 generation. We haven't had a $10 price hike. Doesn't sound that intense, but if you look back from PlayStation 3, let's just go ahead and start there, to where we're going now, right? PlayStation 3 would not have been able to run Cyberpunk. Let's just be real with each other. I don't even think it could have ran Witcher 3, but it is what it is. So games have gotten bigger and more expensive to create. We've lucked out, quite frankly, and I know it's not what you guys want to hear. We've lucked out that games have not gone up in a long time. $10 is, in most cases, I would say not that big of a deal, though the current climate with everything going on, people kind of, things are shutting back down around here, which means people are probably going to be out of a job again. And if you hear the waves crashing, I apologize, but it's just part of the scene, all that business. So the $10 price hike is kind of, it's a slippery slope, because once they start doing it and once people start seeing more profits, it's of course going to have other companies do it. See, if a company like CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk came out and was like, hey, this game, it really took a toll on us. It was really expensive to make. We got Keanu Reeves, man. We got to charge $70 for the base version. Sorry, I know CD Projekt Red are the good guys. They give you the free DLC, the free stuff, all the free updates, etc. But hypothetically speaking, right, because that's a huge game. And then of course the Avengers guys come on, well, I mean, we're making an Avengers game in that game. I was gonna do a video on that, but I didn't get around to it. So anyways, CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, most people would probably understand. NBA 2K, you're not going to understand for a very specific reason, and that's because it is filled with microtransactions. When you spend $60 on NBA 2K, they do not expect you to just spend the $60. They expect you to spend probably, and this is just an estimate, roughly, let's just go ahead and say 40 to make it even, an even $100 per unit of NBA 2K sold. And, that's just kind of how it is. FIFA's the same way, NFL's the same way, UFC same way. The problem is, of course, that NBA 2K is the only really good basketball game in town. I know there's NBA Live by EA, but we're not going to talk about that. That is an inferior product. And if you look at it from that perspective, that they're both $60, okay, yes, NBA 2K should be $70. But we're not looking at it from that perspective. We're looking at it as the price is going up. Here's another kicker, by the way. A lot of next-gen versions, Cyberpunk, again, we're going to use this as an example. If you buy the PlayStation 4 version, you can upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for free. You can do that with NBA 2K if you buy the $100 version. At that point, you're basically buying two games anyways. So, not the base version, but the $100, whatever version it is. I don't know what it comes with. I didn't look it up. I just saw the price. I'm not an NBA 2K player. So why are they doing this? Well, of course, as I said, money. Someone has to start the trend because games are being more expensive to make. The thing is, NBA 2K, outside of improved graphics, and this is what they're saying, is like, well, it was built from the next gen up. Like, it started on next gen and built it up, so we have to increase the price, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me, because here's the thing, you do get new animations, you do get better graphics, you get a little bit better gameplay, but ultimately, it's the same game. This is not something like you had to start with a blank canvas and build it completely. That's not how it worked. So that's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. They're just trying to make more money. Now, 2K does, of course, is a publicly traded company, and their stock is very expensive. this is of course going to increase the value of the stock as well. But there's another thing to this that a lot of people might not realize, and that with those microtransactions, those games, they're not banned in certain countries. Belgium is an example of this. Rockstar, when they put the casino in GTA 5, there is a casino, but you can't do any gambling because it's just against their laws over there. So by doing this, by doing the $70, you are still making a little bit of extra money off of those countries while screwing the rest of us. There's another thing, and I just saw it today. The UK, the guys who watch over the gambling thing, I don't know exactly what it's called, but they basically said, yeah, you guys should probably start regulating this and saying that that is gambling in-game. And if that happens, if that starts happening, and parents, because parents, I know we like to think that a lot of parents, it's 50-50. You like to think that they're on their phones, they're educated, and they're not educated on the other side. It's up to you how you want to say it. Guys like me who play video games, we know all about this, but a lot of parents don't have time for that, so they don't know about all this stuff. So their children get in. Fortnite, another example. You know, I just got a new phone the other day, and an older lady came in and said, well, how do I get my, or no, it was over the phone. I heard, because they were on speaker for whatever reason. Well, how do I get the charges? You know, they're trying to get the Verizon person to charge the charges back, and the kid played Fortnite and bought a bunch of skins, etc. Point being, if the parents are not educated, then they can just, you know, it slips through the cracks. It happens. And where was I going with this? Gambling thing. They're saying, hey, make it so it is basically gambling. And if it is gambling, it doesn't matter what game it is. NBA, I'm guessing, is teen, probably because it's got like some, you know, it is a little bit of a physical sport, but of course some of the music in there is probably a little bit more, you know, a little bit more adult themed and all that business. But if it is gambling, it will be mature automatically. And that is a red flag for a lot of parents. So they're trying to get ahead of this microtransactions potentially being labeled as gambling here. I don't know if it'll happen here. It's happening in other places, but if it is and you don't want to mark it as mature, you have to then take those microtransactions out. Well, you make up a bit of that profit by charging the $70 instead of the $60. And as I said, this is a slippery slope. I would not be surprised to see EA take a dive at this next. Maybe Activision, I don't know. They're still trying to play the good guy. They're not the good guy, but they're still trying to play. Like I said, EA will probably be the next domino to fall with either FIFA or Madden. Probably FIFA because it's more expensive, but at the same time, that Star Wars controversy, so who knows. But NBA is the guys that are going to be first taking this step. It is silly, but at the same time, you're gonna make more money. Because here's the thing about NBA guys, NBA 2K guys, they're gonna pay it because, as I said, it's the only good NBA game in town, and that might be the only game that they're playing for the next 6 months. It's similar to Madden and FIFA guys. It's the only game they're playing, so if they charge that, hey, why not? And real quick, let's go ahead and ask, do you think microtransactions are gambling? Not microtransactions, loot boxes specifically. Not microtransactions. Loot boxes is what they're saying that you need to mark as gambling. Because here's the thing, I was in the casino, it's Thursday, so it was like 5 days ago. I was in it Saturday night. I'm not one of them suckers that goes and plays on the slot machines. I play blackjack. I was there at like 2 in the morning and stayed there till like 7, you know, won a couple $100, whatever. Point being, but my grandpa was there and he was staying the night. He was, he's not like me. So I knew it was 7 in the morning because he came down from his room and was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, oh, he's up, which means I got to get out of here is what is going on. But he plays the slots. And the difference between slot machine and a loot box is this: you don't technically, you do lose, but you don't technically lose with the loot box, right? When you open one of these packs in NBA 2K, you're always getting something you can use. It's probably not LeBron, but it's still a card that you can still play technically. Of course, a slot machine, you don't get the thing, you lose. So this is where the disconnect is currently. And they're using this as like, it's not gambling, but at the same time it is gambling because it clicks those things in your brain that makes you be like, oh, I want just one more, just one more, just one more. And just one more in this case is like $2 a pop from what I can recall. Shoot, I guess slot machines are right about there as well. But as we get a little bit closer to the next generation, this is probably a battle that's going to be decided one way or another, at least for the time being. I think next gen might be when we finally do see some regulation with the loot boxes, but at the moment, that's where we're at with a $70 NBA 2K or a $100 version on your PlayStation 4, and then you can upgrade to PlayStation 5 for free. Let me see if I got my notes here. $100 version, yep. Microtransactions, yep. Yeah. Last thing I got is $10 in theory is not that much, right? I think I said this earlier, but slippery slope. If you add $10 to every version of NBA 2K20, I think that's the version we have, that sold, it will add up. I don't know exactly how many sold, but I know it's been in the MPD for the last few months, and of course when it released, it was in the MPD as well. So let's go ahead and say this is probably wildly underestimating how much it's actually sold. Let's just go ahead and say there's 4 million copies sold out there. 4 million times $10, that adds up, what is that, 40 million? I'm not really good at math, so it's probably gotta be 40 million, right? That's right, yeah, 40 million. That's 40 million extra dollars. Can't scoff at that. I don't like it. You probably don't like it, but there are reasons they're doing it, and I think they're trying to get ahead of the whole gambling legislation, regulation, whatever you want to call it, for loot boxes, which are card packs in this instance. And of course, they want to make sure that they can earn a little bit of extra capital off of those countries that have already banned loot boxes. I gotta quit calling them microtransactions because they're not that, they're loot boxes. But yeah, extra money in those countries. So yeah, that's where it's at. It's silly. I'll do another video once EA inevitably says that they're going to do it. I think the most silly part about this is that you can't upgrade from the $60 version to the next gen version. That's just, I understand why, because it's obviously a difference in price, but why not just let me pay $10? Why not let me pay the difference? Why? Because they want you to spend even more. As I said, 2K is not your friend. They are your friend if you have stock in them though, because they are making that money up. All right, I did a video yesterday asking what you guys were doing. It's actually really warm today. Hope you guys are doing well. Don't know if you're playing anything, but if you are playing anything, let me know. A couple of games coming up. Talked about Ghost of Tsushima. I think I'll be doing something on Paper Mario here shortly, probably next week. So look forward to that. And if you liked what you saw, got what you needed, let me know for real how you feel about this. If it's been a long time coming, as a lot of people in my Discord have said. It's like, yes, we've had $60 games for a long time. 70's probably what it should have been last gen, but doesn't mean we gotta like it. So anyways, if you like what you saw, got what you needed, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Later, graders.